I'ma keep that shit 100K. Slap. I'ma keep that shit 100K. Got a feeling that I'm finished now, bro. I feel it in my marrow. I feel it in my bone.
What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Keem Kay. I'm Keem, she's Kay, and today we'll be reacting to Brixton versus Peckham, most infamous beef in London.
We just did the, what's that song? The Brixton Bully.
Yeah, side with a cookie, man.
We just reacted to that, so if you want to go check that out, a few videos back, go check that out. We loved it. Let's get right into the video and see what this is, because this was highly requested. Let's go.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Your boy Kid Nerd here, back with another video, and we're going old school today and talking about one of the most infamous beefs in London and one of the first publicized feuds in London as well. I'm talking about the Brixton versus Peckham beef in the late 2000s to early 2010s. I don't want to drag on this intro for too long, and check out my Insta and Patreon in the description, and be sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't already. Obviously, we have our Amazon gift card winner of the video as well. If you don't know yet, every video I give away a £50 Amazon gift card to a random follower on my Instagram. My Insta is on the screen now, and all you have to do is follow that for a chance to win an Amazon gift card. And today's winner, we have pt.cfn. So if that's you, give me a message and receive your £50 Amazon gift card. Let's get into the video.
What is that person not watching right now?
So before the publicized drill feuds in South London, like Moscow versus Zone 2 and Harlem versus 410, there was a very deadly war going on between Peckham and Brixton, which was one of the first nationally publicized beefs in London, gaining a lot of news coverage, and came about in the early stages of YouTube, where we could see direct disses, kind of originating diss tracks how we know it today. So as I said before, the two areas in this feud was Brixton versus Peckham. So first we have Peckham, which is located in the borough of Southwark in South London, which infamously is the area where drill group Zone 2 are from. But before Zone 2, there was the Peckham Boys, which was a gang made up of 5 estates in Peckham, which were the North Peckham Estate, Gloucester Grove Estate, Willowbrook Estate, Camden Estate, and the Sumner Estate. And these estates were very well known for how bad they were. They suffered massive unemployment and crime, and were very deprived. They pretty much were neglected by any law enforcement and government as well, and was even called Peckham, which is a hybrid between Vietnam and Peckham, comparing the area to the Vietnam War due to how much violence was there. Throughout the Peckham Boys gang, there were different sets, like the Firehouse Crew and YBP, or Younger Peckham Boys. There were also a couple of Jamaican yardie gangs in Peckham, like the Sunrise Crew and the Spanglers as well. And on the other side of the feud, we have Brixton, which is about an 11-minute ride from Peckham and is located in the borough of Lambeth. Brixton's main gang in this feud was called the Gas Gang, who was a gang from the Angel Town estate. And these guys were the most violent gang in the Brixton area, and were even responsible for 3/4 of violent incidents in Brixton in 2012. The Angel Town estate, where Gas Gang is from, probably has the richest history of gangs in London, with many different generational gangs being bred from this estate, like the PDC gang in the 2000s who dominated the estate. Nowadays it's the Get Back gang or 150 who take on the estate. But let's take it back a minute to 2008, where Peckham, who I first mentioned, was deep in the decades long with a gang called the Ghetto Boys, who was a gang from Lewisham in South London, which was a crazy war in itself, and I'll definitely do a video of that in the future. But in 2008, after decades of back and forth between the Peckham and Lewisham gangs, the younger generations in both gangs agreed to an alliance, which was fully solidified during the Notting Hill Carnival in August 2008, when 180 members from both gangs organised a link-up at the carnival.
Yeah, we saw them people.
118 members linked up at a carnival?
What?
118, that's a big number. That's a gigantic number.
That's a lot.
No bad. Okay.
Link up was actually intercepted by police because the police thought the two gangs were linking up to fight each other. But as Peckham's relationship with Lewisham got better, their relationship with Brixton started to worsen. See, historically, Brixton and Peckham have always had a feud, even dating all the way back to the 1950s, where local schoolboys from both areas would clash, which was even more hostile after immigration, because Peckham was filled with mainly African immigrants, while Brixton was filled with mainly Caribbean immigrants. So there's always been big culture clashes there. But as I said, in 2008, the war between Brixton and Peckham was starting to become a lot more heated, and these were times where guns were much more accessible than what they are now. It wasn't uncommon for a gang member to be rolling around with a gun, just like how nowadays most gang members roll around with knives. So there was a lot of back and forth shooting between these areas. In one instance, members from a Brixton gang called OC, who were heavily allied with Gas Gang, rid out on Woolworth Road, which at the time was a territory of the Shoot Instant gang, who were part of the Peckham side, and started shooting at 2 Peckham rappers called Snap Capone and Butch, who were walking down the street. Both rappers actually managed to run to a convenience store and managed to dodge the bullet. While running into the shop, an innocent bystander just trying to get into the same shop was shot and killed. His name was Ryan Bravo, and he was 18 at the time. And this was one of the big turning points in making his feud widely publicised in the UK. Just to rub salt in the wounds, the OC gang made a diss track called Bullet Rhythm, when a member mocked the situation with the lyrics, "Had you running in the shop like you're buying something," while a member of a Peckham gang then responded to the situation in a song called Real Riders, saying, obviously referencing when Brixton members shot up Woolwich Road, which are some of the early examples of UK diss songs, referencing real moments that have happened on the streets, bringing more publicity to the feud. And the people who are up to date with London's street situation at the moment will probably be quite confused, because Woolwich Road actually beats Peckham now, but that's a whole nother story to get into another time. So yeah, after this Woolwich Road shooting, many diss tracks were going back and forth between the gangs, as well as shots. In the same year of 2008 in October, Brixton older members got the drop on a Peckham member's house called Terms, and waited in the parked car outside his house. When Terms appeared outside his house, they shot him on his doorstep, leaving him to die. Terms was a member of the SN1 gang in Peckham, which stands for Spare No One, and this is the same gang that the famous rapper Giggs was part of, and Giggs pays respect to Terms sometimes in his songs. It didn't take more than a month for Peckham to respond to this though. In November, Peckham members got the drop that some members from the Brixton gang OC were clubbing at a nightclub called SE1 in Bermondsey, South London, and pulled up to the club, shooting Errol Davis close range in front of 2,500 clubbers, which is even crazier because the murderer was never caught, despite there being thousands of witnesses at the scene. But these times, stuff like this wasn't uncommon, because there was low-level security and no cameras in some of the clubs in 2008, which is something you will never see in clubs in London nowadays. Quite recently actually, in 2016, the police found the same handgun which murdered Errol Davis at the nightclub in the possession of a man called Andre Chambers, who lived in Woolwich, which is quite sus. It was also later found out that the same weapon which was involved in Errol Davis' murder was also involved in 2 other attempted murders and 1 murder. But Andre Chambers was never found guilty for the murders with little to no evidence, apart from handling the weapon. But that's not enough to go down for a murder. While this direct war between Brixton and Peckham was occurring, there were also a lot of separate gangs and areas who joined alliances with both areas. This was basically turned into some World War III stuff, the South London version. One set based in Old Kent Road, called OBY, in South London were affiliated with Peckham. But a dispute between the members started a feud between OBY and Peckham, resulted in OBY members joining Brixton in the fight against Peckham, which was fully signified in the trap between the two gangs called Brooklyn to Baghdad. But OBY went off to a bad start in his feud after losing one of their younger members called Baby Ryder. His real name was Sunday Essia, and he was a 15-year-old orphan from Nigeria after his mum and dad both died when he was younger, and he started to get involved in the South London feud. Before he was stabbed, he pulled out an imitation firearm on 4 rival members. When they realised it was fake, they chased him through a park while he was screaming for his life, begging his killers not to kill him and spare his life. But he was ultimately stabbed 9 times and left to die. So after the back and forth in 2008, Brixton and Peckham was...
He pull a fake gun.
I don't know.
It's hard, it's not hard to spot a fake. I mean, you gotta be like in a night where niggas can't really see like what it is. You know what I'm saying? Cause it could work, but it gotta be the right circumstance. You gotta just flash it and just, you know, even like or like just have like right here, like, yeah, y'all want a problem?
Why wear a fake gun?
Y'all want a problem? Nah, like it's up to you. Oh, y'all want a problem? You know what I'm saying?
Or not.
That's you just flash it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's up to y'all. Y'all want to die or not?
Yeah, like let them know it's there.
Yeah, let them know it's there. Don't wave it around and shit. If it's so they can have a better look at it.
Yeah, see that it's fucking fake.
Hey, it's up to y'all. Y'all want to live or not?
They catch your ass being hard.
Yeah, they chased them down and stabbed them 9 times.
But why bring a fake gun?
I mean, I get where his idea was coming from. I don't know why he didn't have a real one.
Maybe he couldn't get his hands on the real one.
Yeah, I see.
He should have kept the fake one away for.
It's a no-go zone. And me personally, growing up as a kid around these times, despite me not actually living in the area and being too young to understand all this stuff, I just knew Brixton and Peckham was a place you do not go. Even the Member of Parliament of Peckham at the time, Harriet Harman, would wear a bulletproof vest and have security while she would walk through Peckham, further embracing the name Peckham. Then 2009 hit, and this was a big year for music from both sides, but especially from the Peckham side of things, when Giggs dropped a couple mixtapes and started putting some of his other members onto music, like Gunna D and Killer Kai. But Giggs was under a lot of pressure from the police at the time, who would cancel his shows, warn labels not to work with him, and even banned him from appearing in TV and radio, which is something we see a lot now with police taking down these drill music videos. Well, the reason why police was so onto Giggs is because the streets were crazy at these times, and Giggs' Peckham gang SN1 were making headlines early on in 2009 when they executed the ex-member in broad daylight daylight on a busy street because he fell out with the gang earlier on. This was a ticking point for police because it was seeming to the public at this time that the gangs had took control and could do whatever they want, which was essentially true. So police started gathering CCTV footage of previous rideouts from both Peckham and Brixton gangs in an attempt to take down some members. Police sent over this footage to Peckham members' lawyers as proof of their involvement in the feud, which a member then grabbed the footage of his lawyer and uploaded it to YouTube. The original video is no longer up, but a re-upload of it is still on YouTube today and shows Peckham members riding out in Brixton in masses. And when looking at this footage, this is some propaganda worthy stuff. Like, the captions in the videos are so funny, and all the footages just show how crazy these times really were. Like, gangs were just riding their ops with 30 guys on pedal bikes, loaded with guns and knives. There's no way you could get away with that stuff nowadays in London. 3 boys can't even walk to the shop in London without getting stopped by police, let alone that many people on bikes. Brixton gangs responded to this YouTube video in the music video called You're Liars, and the whole year of 2009 was literally just filled with violence and diss tracks, with some real classics like Wreckage from Peckham younger members. Around the same time of this release, a 13-year-old boy was stabbed 5 times in South London due to the feud between these areas, which hit national attention because 13 is hella young, and I think this rang into a lot of people's mind that this issue was very bad because kids as young and even younger than 30 were now known to be involved in this. And on top of all this Brixton and Peckham beef, Peckham were having their own issues inside the area, and the civil war started to ignite in the Peckham area, which was fully all out after a member of the MLB gang or Mandem on Brandon was shot dead by Peckham olders. MLB is a gang from the Brandon estate in South London, which is the same estate drill group Moscow 17 is based in. Peckham rapper Snap Capone was linked to the murder but managed to beat the case, but a member was sent to prison for hiding the gun used in the murder. This created a lot of politics between Peckham and the Peckham affiliated gangs, and eventually after many disputes, members of an estate called Lexham Estate split away from the Peckham sets and started beef in Peckham, which just started turning Peckham very messy. At the same time, different Peckham sets started turning on each other, and because Peckham is such a big area and had so many different estates, the gangs just started keeping inside their estate. One of these being the Pelican estate, which started beefing other Peckham gangs after the disagreement, which in December of 2010 resulted in 2 members being stabbed and 1 being shot to death. The member who died was called Vesta, and police were investigating the situation heavily at the time. So while this investigation was taking place, a younger member of a rival Peckham gang started to go onto the Pelican estate and post leaflets through the doors which said, and I quote, "Stop snitching or we'll come for you," which must have been hella threatening for the normal residents who just live on the estate and had nothing to do with the gang situation.
God.
2 members.
Imagine you see that. I don't snitch anyway, so I don't know.
Stop snitching, we come for you.
He was like 2 G's, but
Tiny Nutty and Jungle were convicted and sent to a minimum of 30 years for the murder. Just before Tiny Nutty got booked for the murder of Vesta, his older, who was called Nutty, was on remand in prison for a firearm charge. Around these times especially, it would be common for older members to have youngers, which would then take on their name essentially, just like how Tiny Nutty took on Nutty's name. A 17-year-old from Peckham was also on the same charge as Nutty for the firearm, but just like how gang hierarchy works, other members were pressuring the 17-year-old to plead guilty to the firearm charge, which would then allow Nutty to be freed. The 17-year-old refused though, which resulted in other members executing the 17-year-old by luring him into a car and shooting him in the back of his head and then burning the vehicle on the day of the court hearing. Nutty was accused of arranging the murder because of the conflicting stories they both were telling in court, and he looked even more guilty after officers found the lyrics in his cell saying, "Kill your co-defendant if he's snitching in court." Like, I don't think you could get any more bait than writing those lyrics. It's not even like it's a catchy line or anything. I think he was just screaming, "Please lock me up," and that's exactly what they done after finding him guilty of the gun charges and arranging the murder, which he is now serving 32 years for. Also, the Peckham rapper, who is known by a street name CS, was actually caught and convicted for setting the car on fire after the 17-year-old was shot and killed, which he served 4 years for. So as you could tell, Peckham was just a mad area at these times. The civil war they were having was probably more active than their beef with Brixton ever was. One death that really shocked the area was the death of a respected member called Taz. He died during the chase when he crashed his motorbike. Family members put up a shrine of Taz where the accident occurred, where the ops then camped outside the same day of his death. And when a member called Little Groove visited the shrine, they shot him dead the same day. So Peckham was literally a no-go zone at this point. Like, literally everyone was just beefing each other. But while all this madness was happening in Peckham, Brixton were having their own separate issues over in their camp. Gas Gang was starting to get heavily involved in beefs with a lot of surrounding towns, like Brixton Hill and Toast Hill, which are blocks of the famous drill groups 6-7 and 8-6. One murder that really started changing the dynamic of this beef was the murder of Toast Hill member Little Zach. It was 2011 and 5 Gas Gang members rid out in a school located in Toast Hill, waiting for Little Zach to come home from school. The reason the members targeted...
They're waiting for him to come home from school.
Yeah, little Zach, look how little innocent. And
that's how it be. They be so young.
Why'd they wait for him to come home from school?
I don't know.
Type of sick shit.
That is sick.
Yeah, we're gonna wait till we get out at 2:30.
It
Y'all
was that,
sick,
because he was
motherfucker.
involved in the stabbing of a gas gang member 2 weeks before
That
this
him?
incident. When he
Oh,
came
that-
out of the school, the gas gang members chased Ozak and stabbed him to death. He was only 15 at the time, and this resulted in a few separate gangs starting to turn on gas gang, like ABM, who was a gang located in Stockwell. At this point, literally everyone was beefing everyone. South London was just a very, very dangerous place, and when some murders would be committed, police couldn't even point it towards any specific gangs, just because it could have been so many different cliques. Like the murder of Azur Khan in 2011. He was attending the funeral of one of his gas gang friends when he was shot and killed at the burial, but no one has the faintest idea of who it could have been. It could have been one of the many gangs in Peckham, it could have been members from Tulse Hill, Brixton Hill, ABM, or just anyone from the borough of Southwark. There's just too many possibilities. These murders amped up the fuse between gas gangs and other areas aside Peckham, and it was getting to the point where both Brixton and Peckham had more issues on their hands rather than each other. In 2012, 3 gas gang members rid out on Stockwell looking for members of a rival gang called ABM. When they found the op inside the shop, they let off fire inside the shop, which missed the rival, but ended up hitting a 5-year-old, which left her paralyzed. This hit nationwide news, and this was really the beginning of the end for gas gang, because they started getting more monitored than probably any other gang at the time, which 2 years later resulted in a massive raid taking down some of the key members of the gang. Nowadays, Peckham and Brixton gangs are actually linked up, with both of them having the same ops, but compared to how it was back in 2011 to 2012, both areas have calmed down a lot, with mass surveillance and of course gentrification. If you go to some of the old blocks of Peckham, where murders, robbings and shootings would be a daily occurrence, it's crazy how now them same blocks are filled with white hippies with rich parents. But to be honest, that's like most of London now. Anyway guys, that's it for today's video. I might do a part 2 on this because I know there's some things that I left out. But either way, it's been your boy Kid Nerd and peace out.
Yeah, peace out, man.
Bro, first of all, the gun thing, the fake gun thing. I see what he was trying to do, but you can't let shit like that be seen for too long.
They chased him down and stabbed him.
I know.
Yeah, that's really sick.
That makes me sad.
That was a
the
life or death
fucking
situation. Yeah.
waiting for him to get out of the school. That was crazy.
It's a little Zach.
A little ass kid.
I
going
wasn't
to
even in the
school.
gang, you know, just an innocent kid. A mother now has a 5-year-old that's paralyzed. And now there's a 5-year-old that's not going to be able to live their life the way they wanted to live.
All because they got shot at 5 years old.
Yeah, not even in the gang, just doing stuff. Just
Hey,
doing
bro.
5-year-old shit. Probably chewing on a
Bro.
fucking toy or something.
They're all
You know what I'm saying?
fucking young.
Well, why shoot in a fucking store?
That's what
Like,
I'm
why not
saying.
wait till he get out?
So they said that they missed and shot the 5-year-old.
Yes, they
Can you
shot in a
imagine?
store.
Just going to the fucking store and your kid probably got like a baba.
What is a baba?
You know,
No.
milk. They call it babas.
Who call it baba?
Moms. You know baba.
Nah, I never.
That's what kids learn. Like
Oh.
you put milk in the bottle and they call it baba.
Oh, I never.
Oh, okay. Anyway, he's probably sitting there with a drink, and then you just see him get shot.
You see bullets
And
flying
that's
through the store.
traumatizing for a
Bro,
mom.
for a mother seeing
to
a kid
see their
shot.
kid get
I mean,
shot
at least
randomly.
she's not dead. You know what I'm saying? At least she's not dead.
We know if it was a boy or girl.
Yeah, he said, girl.
Aww.
I would rather die. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be paralyzed the rest of my life, man.
You get to go to the park.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
stuff.
I want to do shit.
Go
Like,
to the park. and
swim, all that.
He probably just learned how to walk.
Shit.
She probably just learned how to walk.
At 5?
No, but you know, just is only a couple years.
Oh, yeah. She's only been 5 years on the planet. So, like, when you learn how to walk, like, 2?
Yeah, probably.
2, 1?
Yeah, 2-1.
So, like,
Only a
that's
little
crazy. Now you can't walk
Aw.
forever. All these some fuck-ass niggas that shot in
There's
the...
all these young people, like, waiting for him to get out of school? That's wild.
That's a wicked thing to do. But that's it for today. Got...
Dang, that's it for today. Let us know in the comments what you want to see next. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. And that's all for today. We love you so much. Bye.